Good morning to the second year students. So today's topic is regarding the easiest topic and also well-known topic in your first year, that is an hypertension. So hypertension. So all of you know hypertension means it is an increased blood pressure. So from the starting classes I used to say regarding how to write medical surgical nursing, how to learn medical surgical nursing side headings. So first of all, side headings are first headings. Definitely in medical surgical nursing you have to write definition, this incidents, causes, pathophysiology, clinical manifestations, and diagnostics. After diagnostics, management. Management includes medical, surgical, and nursing management. So these are the headings in medical surgical nursing. So in every session and in every videos I used to say, because you have to keep in your mind. So you should not forget while you're writing your med-surg exam. Definitely you have to focus on these headings and you have to write. Okay. So we'll go into the topic. So the hypertension is defined as actually you have learned your first year, that is the increased blood pressure, but in your second year you will learn the exact definition. The exact definition is an systolic blood pressure of 140 mm of Hg, or it is more, or diastolic of 90 mm of Hg or more. So this is the exact definition. So it is also a silent killer. Hypertension is a dangerous and very silent killer. This clinical, sometimes the patient may not able to illustrate the clinical manifestations. When he will come to the hospital means when he will have a visual problems and visual things, at that time they may be representing, or sometimes the patient may go into the unconscious. At that time they may be knowing the patient will be having a hypertension. So it is one of the reason in old ages also it's a silent killer. Incidence 30% of the adults will have. So mostly 30% in US, 30% of the adults will have HTN. Approximately 54% with hypertension. African and Americans have highest prevalence. So approximately this will be having a 63 to 57% respectively. So we are having types of hypertension: primary hypertension and secondary hypertension. This primary hypertension cause was not unknown, or idiopathic cause, or unidentified cause. So the cause will be unknown. It is also called as essential hypertension, so which is defined as high blood pressure. So the cause is unknown. The secondary is mostly 5 to 10% of the cases. The secondary can be seen. Mostly these are having many causes. So we'll see the causes. So number of causes are there in secondary hypertension. So this cause includes, what are the cause includes means renal parenchymal disease. So first of all, mainly renal parenchymal disease, because in this renal lo there will be a parenchyma. So parenchymal disease in renal parenchymal disease. So kidney lo we are having a parenchyma. So that is there the renal artery and also narrowing of the renal arteries. So there will be narrowing in the renal arteries. Actually this mechanism can be seen in, most probably this mechanism can be seen in the kidney. So if there is any changes in the kidney, it may leads to the secondary hypertension. First cause is the renal parenchymal disease, or if any narrowing of the renal arteries, or any hyperaldosteronism, mineralocorticoids, any that is nothing but in hyperaldosteronism, mineralocorticoid HTN and pheochromocytoma are certain medications. So certain medications like prednisolone. So prednisone one type of steroid that way leads to, and now eptoin, this can be eptoin alpha, this epitin alpha, it can be given in cases of low HP cases, so at that time, and in case of coarctation of aorta. So this is one of the congenital disease. We will see afterwards what is meant by coarctation of aorta. So in these cases it can be seen. Mostly pregnancy is also one of the cause, and have a increased risk of ischemic heart diseases, heart attack, heart strokes, kidney diseases, diabetes, and death also, for sometimes heart attacks also. High blood pressure can also occur with this pregnancy or increase, and then we'll see that so secondary is a main cause. So first of all, this we'll see. So causes. So we have already said that it is in secondary and essential or primary or idiopathic hypertension. We'll call it as 3 names. So in these 3 names, so we'll see number of causes are there. You just have a look on that. I will explain it clearly in next slides. So we are having a genetical, because of any genetical problems or alcoholic problems or any stressful conditions, in case of obesity, genetic, or any counter medications, over counter medications, endocrine hormones, hormonal problems, when there is a vascular problems or any renal problems. So renin-angiotensin mechanism can be seen in the renal system. So if there is because of these factors, we had seen the factors. What are the factors? Renal factors, renal parenchymal disease or renal narrowing or hypoaldosteronism, this pheochromocytoma, whatever thing. So at that time, if there will be alteration in the renin-angiotensin mechanism, at that time he may land up in the hypertension. So that is the thing. I think you know what is the renin-angiotensin mechanism. These are the risk factors. Major risk factors are mainly, we'll see. Major risk factor, smoking. So this is the one of the thing. And then dyslipidemia. Dyslipidemia means it's also an elevated LDL or total cholesterol. So, and then obviously I had said in previous class, so definitely whenever there is an LDL level elevation, this HDL level will be low. So that is dyslipidemia. And not only that, diabetes is one of the cause, impaired renal function, obesity, physical inactivity. In case of age, men above 55 years of age or women above 65 years of age more prone for these diseases. And the family history of if they have a family history of cardiovascular problems, it can further them also it may be seen. So So not only this, some of the clinical cardiovascular diseases are heart diseases. When there is a heart disease, left ventricular hypertrophy. So left ventricle, in case of left ventricular hypertrophy can be seen in case of heart failures. Whenever the heart failure to eject the blood, when at that time the left ventricle become hypertrophy. So size will be, hypertrophy means the size will be increased. So in case of that cases, and the pressure whenever the అంటే వెంట్రికులర్ హైపర్ట్రోఫీ ఉంది అని అంటే we cannot if it is the left, it cannot able to eject the blood. It cannot able to eject the blood, the pressure in the vessels can be increased. When there is an increase in the pressure, it may land up into the hypertension and angina. And previous case of myocardial infarctions, previous any coronary revascularization of heart failures or stroke, in case of CKDs, peripheral artery diseases or retinopathy. So in these cases it can be seen. So we'll see the genetical and environmental factors, how it may lead to the hypertension. So when there is a genetical or environmental factors, there will be defects in the renal sodium homeostasis. So when there is a defect in the renal sodium. Actually, because of inadequate sodium, what happened? Inadequate sodium excretion. So when there is an inadequate sodium excretion, what will happen? The salt and water will become retention. Okay, అర్థమైందమ్మా, will get retention. When there is a retention, what happened? Increasing plasma and extracellular fluid volume. So this extracellular fluid volume also will be increased. So extracellular, not intracellular. So plasma and extracellular fluid will become increased. So fluid volume will become increased because of retention. Because of retention, this volume will be increased. Because of that, there will be increased cardiac output. So there will be increased cardiac output. This increased cardiac output will leads to the hypertension. In another way, whenever there is an increased extracellular fluid, so the vascular reactivity. So vascular reactivity and vascular wall thickness will be increased. Because of increasing vascular reactivity and then vascular wall thickness, there will be a resistance. సో అంతే కదా, మన వాస్కులర్ రియాక్టివిటీ అవ్వాల్సిన దానికన్నా అవ్వకపోతే థిక్నెస్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయిపోయి యాక్టివిటీ విల్ బీ ఇంక్రీజ్, వాస్కులర్ రియాక్టివిటీ వెనెవర్ ఇట్ విల్ బీ ఇంక్రీజ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ హార్మోన్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ హార్మోన్? Nitrouritic hormone. This hormone will be released. Because of this hormone, reactivity and vascular thickness will become increases. Because of this increase, there will be a total peripheral vascular resistance. Because of that, hypertension. So not only that, functional vasoconstriction. So because of this genetical and environmental factors, three things will be happening. What are the defects in renal sodium, the functional vasoconstriction, defects in vascular smooth muscle growth and structure. So there will be defects in the vascular. We are having a smooth muscles in the to the arteries, veins. So what will be happening? The defects can be seen in the smooth muscles and growth and structure. So whenever there is a defects, this will become reactive and vascular wall thickening. That may lead to peripheral vascular resistance and hypertension. So remember these things so that you can. So clinical manifestations. When coming to the clinical manifestation, definitely how they present means elevated blood pressure. So when there is an elevation of blood pressure, it may be called as we won't take only one reading. Actually, they will take 2 or 3 readings in consecutive days. After that, they will diagnose it as a hypertension. And then asymptomatic for many days. Sometimes the patient may be asymptomatic for many days. Suddenly they may land up in the retinal changes and shows in retinal changes shows what will they shows means hemorrhages in the retina. Exactly in the retina there will be a hemorrhage and formation of fluid accumulations. The exudate is nothing but accumulation of the fluid. So fluid accumulation and then arterial narrowing can also be seen. So in the retina itself, arterioles, there will be narrowing. Not only that, cotton wool spots. So these are small spots, just like cotton. They will be look like. So when we see the retina for hypertensive patients, the retinal changes. So when you are writing an assessment, when the patient is an hypertensive patient, so you have to see the retinal changes. Definitely, we used to write every time we used to write it's normal, but it's not correct. So we have to check the retina. So with the help of ophthalmoscope, so we'll see the hemorrhage, exudates, and that hemorrhages and fluid accumulation. Arterial will become narrow and cottonwood spots can also be seen. In severe hypotension, papillary edema, so swelling of the optic disc. So what is this? Swelling of the optic disc may be seen. So So, and not only that, assessment and diagnostics. So definitely we have to go for, after clinical manifestations, after all things, we have to assess how we have to get the thorough history, his lifestyle, regarding his lifestyle of smoking, all these things, and physical examination. Retina has to be examined. Laboratory test also should be performed to know the organ function or anything. So that has to be known. And urine analysis, blood analysis, and analysis of sodium, potassium, creatinine, definitely we have to know. And total HDL levels, echo is one of the investigation. This sodium, potassium, creatinine to know the renal function, and total HDL levels to know whether they are a patient, if they are obesity at that time we'll be suggesting this. So echo, definitely you'll have to check any cardiac problems, that is the left ventricular hypertrophy or thing. So and then these are all creatinine clearance tests, blood urea nitrogen. So BUN means blood urea nitrogen. So all these investigations that has to be done to know the renal function, how the renal system is functioning. And 24 hours urinary protein, definitely that has to be checked, because we have to know the sodium creatinine ratio. To know that ratio will be urea creatinine ratio, and then how much protein has been going out, that has to be known very well. So goal. What is our goal? Medical management. We have to prevent hypertension only, and we have to prevent the complications and death. No other option. Definitely it is a dangerous and silent killer, so we have to prevent the further hypertension having a many other complications. It may land up in the heart diseases, and then it may have a retinal changes and brain changes, so number of things. Because of that, the patient may go into the death also. So that has to be. So maintain the blood pressure, so 140/90 or lower. So the maintenance of the blood pressure. So coming to the, first of all, medical management, lifestyle, suggest the patient to have a lifestyle modification. So we'll see one by one. Lifestyle modification, definitely the patient should have one thing. First thing is a weight reduction, and they have to adopt to the DASH diet. DASH diet is nothing but the dietary approaches to stop the hypertension. DASH means dietary approaches to stop the hypertension diet. And reduction of the sodium diet, and physical activity, and moderation of alcoholic consumption. So moderation means limiting of the alcoholic consumption. So the alcoholic consumption should be limited. So we'll see recommendations according to the textbook. So weight reduction, so definitely they have to maintain normal weight and normal body mass index, so that if they are more, they have to reduce 5 to 10 mm of HD goal reduction. If they are, if it per 10 kgs, per 10 kgs 5 to 10 mm of Hg. And then DASH diet means consumption of rich in fruits, vegetables, low fat dietary products, and then reduced content of saturated and total fat. That is the thing. And dietary sodium reduction, 2.4 sodium, 6 grams of sodium chloride. So 2.4 sodium and 6 grams. So we have to have 6 grams of sodium chloride should be suggested. Physical activity, definitely we should go for regular aerobic physical activity, brisk walking, definitely for at least 30 minutes in a day, most of the weeks also, most of the days of the weeks. And then moderation means they have to take they have to decrease. So 2 drinks, that should not be more than the 2 drinks, that is in ounces also. 10 ounce of wine or 3 ounce of whiskey. 3 to 8 per day man should be drink, or 1 drink per day. Woman lighter, and the woman has to be also, sometimes women are also drinkers, so they should also be drinking. Depending upon the weight of the patients, the alcohol limitation should be there. So in lifestyle modification, weight reduction, adopting to the DASH diet, sodium reduction, physical activity, and then alcoholic consumption limitation. So next we'll see what is DASH diet. DASH diet means dietary approaches to stop the hypertension. So what are all the DASH diet? Grains and grain products, that is 7 to 8 number of servings. So and then vegetables 4 to 5, and fruits means 4 to 5, low fat or free 2 to 3, meat, fish, poultry 2 times or fewer times, nuts, seeds, dry beans weekly 4 or 5 weeks. 4 or 5 weekly, only 4 or 5 things weekly. Number it can be served as in numbers. So totally diet can be 2000 calories per day they have to take. So nursing, coming to the nursing management, definitely nursing management we have to assess from top to bottom, and we have to see the careful monitoring of the patient, not only monitoring of the patient changes, and also we have to see the blood pressure in frequent intervals if necessary, 15 minutes in a day, 15 minutes per 15 for every 15 minutes, or if necessary we have to increase the time. And then complete health history. So definitely you have to see the signs and symptoms, and then manifestations, you have to check it for any shortness of breath, alterations in the speech, vision, or any nosebleed, headache, dizziness, nocturia. So these manifestations can be checked. That has to be checked. And then physical examination. In physical examination we have to check for rate and rhythm, character of the pulses, apical and peripheral pulses, to know the hypertension. And thorough assessment can yield valuable information about the extent to which the HTN has affected the body and about any other persons or social or financial factors related to the conditions. So definitely we have to keep the mind their patient financial conditions and social conditions, how the person is affected. So all these things should be kept in mind, and we have to give the suggestions according to the financial status and the social status of the patient. For example, some patients have ability to adhere to antihypertensive medication regimen, may influence it by the financial resources, but to buy the medications and health insurance, they will be having some health insurances also. So we have to know all the things, their financial status. Definitely we have to be known. Diagnosis. So definitely diagnosis. So deficient knowledge regarding the relation between the treatment regimen and controlling of the disease process. This is one of the diagnosis. And another diagnosis is impaired visual acuity. So visual impairment related to increased blood pressure evidenced by the retinal hemorrhage or something. And not only this, the patient will be very anxious related to the disease process. So these are all some nursing diagnosis. So first I have focused on one thing. So remaining you have to learn. So deficit knowledge regarding the relation between the treatment regimen and control of the disease process. So this thing non-compliance with treatment regimen related to side effects of prescribed therapy and collaborative problems and potential complications. So prevention of potential complications should be there. So like potential of prevention of complications like left ventricular hypertrophy, MI, heart failures, cardiovascular accidents, renal insufficiency, renal failure, and retinal hemorrhages. So definitely prevention of complications, potential collaborative problems that has to be prevented. Major our plan is and includes what our plan: treatment, participating in self-care programs, absence of complications. So these are all the things. So nursing interventions will objectives are lowering the blood pressure. So prevention of adverse effects. So how will the patient need to understand disease process? So first of all, he need to understand the disease process and how he have to change his lifestyle. He has to be known, and medications, how he have to use this medication, that has to be explained. Nurses needs to emphasize on concept of controlling HTN rather than curing it. So we have to say the every patient that it is in HTN should be, it is a controlling disease, but it's not a curable disease. So that should be concept, should be, we have to give that concept. They're just controlling HTN, but not it is a curing. The nurse can encourage the patient to consult a dietitian. So definitely to have a diet plan, good diet plan, they have to we have to consent to the dietitian and develop and improve and ask them to take that nutritious diet for weight loss or to have a good nutrition diet. And definitely we have to focus on regular physical activity. That has to be explained, and explain 2 to 3 months for actually patient will be అంటే సడన్ సాల్ట్ రిస్ట్రిక్షన్, సో వీఆర్ సజెస్టింగ్ సాల్ట్ రిస్ట్రిక్షన్, సోడియం రిస్ట్రిక్షన్, సో ఫ్యాట్ రిస్ట్రిక్షన్, ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ we are saying. So the patient taste buds are adopted to that condition, so ask them to adjust to this conditions. So you have to give a support, so you have to adjust to these changes. It may take up to 2 to 3 months, so you have to adjust to this so that you can able to follow this diet and we have to explain to them. And definitely limitation of alcohol, smoking, tobacco intake, and weight control, stress reduction. Nurses assist the patient to develop, adhere to an appropriate exercises, okay, regular exercises, weight reduction. So these are all the things. And not only that, with this we have to explain the if they don't take these medications, what are all the side effects, what are all the complications they may land up. So that has to be that are all should be explained to the patient, so that he may అంటే మనం భయపెట్టకూడదు వాళ్ళని. So if you take this treatment regularly and if you follow, if you are in follow up, so that the disease will be in control, so you may not land up in the complications. So that has to be explained clearly. So we should not make the patient panic. So that is the thing. So with this I complete hypertension. So hypertension is an increased systolic and diastolic blood pressure more than 140 by 90 mm of Hg. Hypertension is divided into two: primary hypertension, secondary hypertension. This primary hypertension is idiopathic or any essential hypertension or unknown, and because of unknown cause it may land up. And secondary hypertension, because of any secondary causes, we are having number of causes like genetical factors, environmental factors, obesity, diabetes, all these factors, they may land up into the hypertension. So and then kidney problems, that's the renal parenchymal disease, all these problems may land up into that hypertension. So we'll go with the clinical manifestations. Definitely it is sometimes the symptoms may not be seen. Asymptomatic patient, only increased blood pressure will be there. Suddenly they may land up into the retinal changes. These retinal changes, any hemorrhagic things, hemorrhagic and cotton wool appearance can be seen, and arterial narrowing can be seen in the retina. And then after the clinical manifestation, we have to assess the patient from the top to bottom, and blood pressure monitoring, all these things. Coming to the nursing management, definitely we have to provide a good knowledge to them, and we have to prevention of complications, mainly complications like retinal or any severe cardiac problems or any renal problems, that has to be prevented. So with this I complete my topic, that is a hypertension.